Right. Stay comfortable, but I will say the sun is coming up on a snowy Sunday here in South Carolina. We don't get many of these, so enjoy them while they're out there. Now, with these temperatures, it is very cold. We will continue to feel that cold air holding steady and in place for us. With that being said, I also want to show you some of these roadways. Look at how much snow is on these roads. These roads are not clear. This is I-26 near mile marker 106, so this is near St. Andrews Road. Clearly, there are some spots that are not safe to travel on. Now, the radar here is clear. The sun is coming up. No problems there. This is now a problem for icy roadways that will have to be watched very closely. Your first alert weather days from this point on, Sunday and Monday, for the cold temperatures, the low wind chills, and of course, remember, you can still have those busted pipes that are possible as we go through the course of the day today because it is going to be so extremely cold. Now, with that being said, what's going on now? Like I said, the radar in our area is clear, but we are still tracking some snow that's in place for us over near the PD in Grand Strand. You can clearly see that snow in place for us over towards Wilmington, and it continues up the eastern seaboard. So North Carolina still dealing with some snow. We're going to have to deal with that for a bit longer. Now, some of those winter storm advisories have come down. The winter storm warning is still in place for us here in South Carolina. Stays with us until 10 o'clock this morning. We're also looking at the extreme cold warning. That is what we're going to be dealing with for today when those wind chills go down to the single digits through the course of the night tonight again. So again, that extreme cold warning in place for you, that ice storm warning still holding steady. And remember, that is in place for us because of the icy roads that we do have out there. So with your current temperatures, 20 degrees for you now in Columbia and in Lexington at 18, 16 Winnsboro and Newberry. You're at 19 now in Sumter and 19 in Manning. Now, when it comes to the wind, it is blowing at about 10 miles per hour in Columbia, 7 miles per hour in Lexington, and then 6 miles per hour in Newberry and in Winnsboro. Why is this important? Because those low temperatures feel even colder when you start to add in these winds. For a little bit more on the wind chills and the icy forecast moving forward, we're going to send things over to Sandra Brogan.
Thanks, Vaughn. Yeah, we need to be concerned about those slick spots on the roadways, not just for today, but for the next couple of mornings. In fact, we are seeing that potential for some slick spots on the roadways, but also we've got some extremely cold conditions that we are going to be dealing with. Now, as we take a look at the wind gusts expected for today into tomorrow, we are going to see our winds that will be close to 20 miles per hour in terms of those wind gusts through this morning. And Vaughn was just showing you those winds earlier, and we already have those single-digit wind chills in place for this morning. In fact, sometimes it may feel like it's around 0 degrees in terms of those feels-like temperatures. So again, we are going to see those single-digit wind chills through much of this morning. Even as we get into the afternoon, when we see temperatures back into the mid-30s, we'll get just a little above freezing. It's going to likely feel like it's down into the 20s at times. So we may see some melting of the snow for today. We'll have plenty of sunshine in the forecast, and so that will allow for some snow melt. But as we go into tonight, temperatures dropping back down into the teens. We're going to likely see that snow melt refreezing, leading to icy spots on those roadways. Monday afternoon, we'll see temperatures into the mid-40s, low to mid-40s. So we'll see much more of that melting snow. But again, Tuesday morning, we'll be dealing with that potential for some black ice across the area. I'll let you know, along with meteorologist Vaughn Gaskin, what you can expect for later in the week.
Sandra, thanks to you and Vaughn. Of course, we will be checking in with both of you throughout the morning for an update on our first alert forecast. Right now, we want to start checking in with our crews out in the field. They got out early this morning to give themselves plenty of time to travel to check out conditions on the ground. Our Derek Rush has made his way back to Newberry County. He actually stayed there overnight, but he's out about surveying the conditions. Derek, I know you're at the hospital now. So often, you know, we talk about our first responders, how they help keep all of us safe, not just highway patrol, not just law enforcement, but also folks who are manning the hospitals and urgent care centers and everywhere else around the Midlands.
Judy, good morning. You are absolutely spot on. The conditions that Vaughn and Sandra referenced as it pertains to these roads is serious. Yesterday was the fun part. You know, it's soft, it's fluffy, it starts to collect, and everybody's building snowmen. As those temperatures drop, it starts to ice over and it gets a little hazardous. It's crunchy right now along the driveway and the parking lot of Newberry County Memorial Hospital. You can see just how much ice has covered over the pavement. You can't even see the lines anymore. And we actually bumped into some DOT crews. I say bumped into, but we drove past DOT crews, as you'll see on some of the video that we have here from this morning, as they were trying to scrape and brine the roadways because it was you couldn't even see the reflection markers in the roads on Main Street or Nance Street here in Newberry. Also, you can see some of the workers driving in cautiously, just as we did getting to the parking lot this morning. Some of them even coming in, nurses, you can see them walking through the snow, making their way through the emergency bay, getting into the hospital. They've been brining the sidewalk here as well because it is just that slick. There is still a little bit of that fluffy consistency to the snow. However, under that layer of fluffiness is ice, and it's very, very dangerous. So we actually spoke with some of the hospital staff about some of those dangers and ways they've been navigating that as they continue to provide care as well.
The thing that we want to express to the community is if you don't have to be out, stay at home, stay safe. We have shelters in the community. All of the areas in the Midlands have shelters right now. We want people to stay warm. We want them to stay safe, stay at home. We're always here. We're always ready. We have staff that have stayed in-house for this event to be prepared for their next shift, so we're not risking the roads.
Now, as you can hear, those well wishes and words of warning from Corey Bishop, who is the surgical director here at the Newberry County Memorial Hospital, reigning true and still something that emergency officials are continuing to encourage as well. Warming shelters, again, at Gallman Elementary and the Pomeria are available here in Newberry County. Obviously, just a very icy and slick situation that people want to avoid if at all possible. But again, as you mentioned, first responders braving these conditions and essential workers braving these conditions to make sure that they are able to prepare help, aid, and assistance for anybody that may need it, especially for the #1 rural hospital in the state of South Carolina. We'll keep you guys updated on conditions here in Newberry. For now, we'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, Derek, thanks so much. We're glad that you were able to heed that advice and keep it safe in Newberry last night, and appreciate you being back out early this morning to show us conditions there on the ground. And certainly our thanks to the incredible staff there for all they do for our community. Derek, you all keep it safe out there. We'll check back in with you guys in just a bit. Obviously, the Midlands saw many overnight impacts from our winter weather, as local officials continue to urge everyone, unless you are an essential worker, unless there is an absolute emergency that forces you to navigate these roads, they're hoping that you can stay home. With the freezing temperatures, it is already creating the potential for refreeze, and as you can see with some of the video that we've been showing you and the pictures, dangerous conditions. Also prompting local agencies to make multiple road closures late last night and into the morning hours. Lexington County has been posting a long list on their website, updating on social media channels overnight and into the morning about roads that they had to close. The City of Columbia doing the same. We've been working to update all of that on our website overnight, and of course we'll keep you posted. Check our website and websites for local counties for road conditions before you get behind the wheel to make sure wherever you have to head that path is clear and that you can keep it safe, and obviously give yourself plenty of extra time. We have all of those resources posted for you right now on WISTV.com, and of course you can also access it through the WIS app. Now, due to the dangerous conditions, we also saw multiple local authorities reminding residents just to be very safe. We talked with Master Trooper William Bennett from the State Highway Patrol, who reiterated the concerns about black ice, which is particularly a concern during these early morning hours.
No, that is a huge concern because we do have a lot of moisture on the road right now. The roads are wet, they're getting slushy, and the temperature's just dropping, and we know that it's going to be below freezing all night long, and that potential for that black ice is definitely going to be there, and it's just not going to be ideal to be out on the road if you really don't need to be.
All right, well, thanks to Trooper Bennett for that great advice. Of course, we want to keep you up to date on our first alert conditions to keep you safe throughout this winter area weather that we're having. We also want to highlight some of the fun that you're having. Our Intisar Faulkner, our resident snow queen, was out in Ridgeway yesterday. She's back with us bright and early this morning. Intisar, I think that's been the highlight of our coverage, seeing some of the great photos that our viewers have been sending in.
Absolutely. Good morning, Judy. And yes, glad to be in the warp this morning to share some of those great photos with you. Continue sending them in throughout the day. We got some beautiful photos and pictures on our website. So if you just go to that Send Pics tab on our homepage, you can upload all of that content. But we want to go through some of those lovely pictures and videos with you. This is Rebecca Mullen sending in a snow day from Little Mountain. This is our little girl here. I mean, these are just adorable. We saw several snow fights that were taking place yesterday. A lot of folks having fun in the snow. So this is from Little Mountain. They made a little snowman. I love that. William Gray sent in this video. Let's see. This was an early start. He sent this in first thing this morning. So as you can see, completely covered where he is. So as we've been mentioning, if you don't have to get out on the roadways today, please stay at home. Please stay indoors. A beautiful picturesque scene though. So thank you, Willem, so much for sending in this video. Again, continue to send in any of the content that you can on our website. Let's keep scrolling here and see what else we got. Okay, more pictures continuing to come in. Oh, we love the doggy pictures too. Please, the pups love the snow. Send this in, my beautiful babies. Victoria Robinson, thank you so much for sending that in this morning. My son's husky in Gray Court, South Carolina. Oh, that's a beautiful picture. So beautiful with that snow in the background. Huskies love this kind of weather, so I know he was having a great time yesterday. Got some car pictures here, and I saw a lot of pictures too on Facebook and on social media that were showing kind of throughout the day, the different hours, starting off in the morning for where we were just really calm, cool, and collected, and then going throughout the day where that snow was coming down. Some more pup photos here, as you can see, folks standing in. Oh, this is from Lugoff, Trampoline Snow Angels in Lugoff from Lauren Sullivan. Thank you so much for sending that. Again, continue to send those pictures on our website. Oh, here it goes. Here's one that was sent in for the snow day. 8 a.m. Take a look at the dot picture here. 8 a.m. completely okay. 10 a.m. we had a little snow business happening, and by 5 p.m. cars in their driveway completely covered. So I know we were keeping an eye outside yesterday. Here's another cute picture. This one is from Talika Holmes. Her son was having a ball in the snow. So again, so many pictures and videos that we've been getting in this morning. Continue to send them in. We would love to share them right here on WIS.
All right, Intisar, thank you for sharing so many wonderful pictures from our viewers, and we hope you guys will keep sending them in to 10. Now, obviously, the other thing we're keeping you on top of, cancellations, changes in school plans for tomorrow, and of course many churches. I'll go ahead and tell my Brooklyn family we're not doing the 8 o'clock service this morning, so if y'all up getting ready, go ahead and roll it back. They are going to do the 11 a.m. online service, so you can check that out as always. Many churches canceling services altogether or moving online this morning. Here you can find a full list of closures and schedule changes on our website. Just click on the closings and delays banner on our homepage. Anyone looking to upload a closure to our website, you can do that quickly and easily by emailing us. That address is closings@wystv.com. A member of our team will follow up right away to make sure we get your connection on air and online. Well, looking ahead, as I mentioned, several school districts also making changes ahead of tomorrow. Here's an updated list. E-learning for Monday, Lexington, Richland 5, Lexington 4, Richland 1. Also, Richland 2 has been added to that list. Lee and Sumter County. Fairfield County is closed. Now, I should mention, the students were going to be out in Fairfield anyway. They had that already planned on their calendar, but they were planning to have some in-person professional learning. That has been canceled, obviously, due to the weather. Kershaw County has also moved to an e-learning day for tomorrow. So this full screen is just a few of the closings and the information that we have received. The full list is posted for you on WYSTV.com. So that has been updated, and you can check that out right now. Throughout the rest of our winter storm coverage, make sure you keep it tuned right here to WYS. You can track the forecast with our First Alert weather team. You can send us those photos and get the latest information on closings and road conditions, which will be very important today. All of that available by the tap of our app on WYSTV.com, or just scan the QR code. It'll take you to our app for free right now. Well, still ahead on your news this early Sunday morning, snow impacts continue across the Midlands. Our Nick Neville sharing the latest update from Camden.
Welcome back. Snow continued late into the evening throughout parts of the Midlands. A white layer left on the ground in Kershaw County overnight.
That's where our Nick Neville has been anchored throughout this coverage. The snow picked up overnight. The road conditions deteriorated overnight, impacting that Kershaw area. Even the Sheriff's Department put up a post trying to get people to identify the roads they posted. They said if you could identify those roads, the winner got a free self-serve snow cone. Let's get the latest from Nick.
Hello from a snowy Camden, which has turned into a winter wonderland throughout the afternoon. When we arrived on Saturday, it was just about a ½ inch of snow. It has continued to steadily fall throughout the day on Saturday. However, as that snow has continued to fall, road conditions here have also steadily deteriorated. They are extremely icy right now. We are located right off of the interstate along the main road. You go down this road, you get to downtown Camden. Earlier, we spent some time in some of the local parks, but in speaking with the Emergency Management Director, Will Glover, he says that currently the danger on the roads is present and real. We have seen several SCDOT and local plows come through. As you can see, cars are few and far between, but we will continue to emphasize this and cannot emphasize it enough. Don't go outside unless absolutely necessary on these roads. Conditions expected to be fairly difficult throughout the day on Sunday as well. We did, however, speak with someone on Saturday night who was out making a run at Walmart for some special supplies. Let's take a listen.
We were sitting on the couch for hours all day and we were getting cabin fever, and we saw some stuff on Instagram, some recipes, and we started sharing them. So we dry drugged the girls out of the house and we went to Walmart, and we're going to go home and make some recipes.
And the county's emergency management director there, Glover, also telling me that there were about 20 wrecks throughout the day on Saturday once this snow started to fall. Reporting in Camden, Nick Neville, WIS News 10.
And in addition to those slick roads, we have an extreme cold warning in effect through this morning. Coming up, meteorologist Vaughn Gaskin and I will let you know just how cold we're talking about in a few minutes.
right now. Your Sunday and your Monday are for the cold temperatures, low wind chills, and of course the impacts that you would see, not just for the busted pipes, the frostbite, the hypothermia. If you venture out and head out on area roadways, another impact would be getting stuck out there on some of those roads and having to endure the problems that you may incur because of being out there on area roadways. So the best plan of action is just go ahead and stay in the house. Right now, as we look at some of the snow reports that we had so far, Elgin had over 5 inches officially reported. Winsboro at about 4.5, about 4 inches of rain in Pomeria, and then Blythewood at about 3.5 inches. The city of Columbia about 3 inches, along with Mulberry. You're at about 3 inches, with 2 inches in Orangeburg and Bishopville, a little bit under that, closer to 1.5 inches for you. So the numbers stacked up nicely. We'll probably get one of those maps that the National Weather Service puts out. They'll give us one of those in a day or so for us to really kind of fine tune on who got the most snow across the area. All right, live look over Lake Murray now. Sun's coming up and you can clearly see that the snow is in place on the boat docks, and it's currently 18 degrees, but that 18 feels like 9 for us now as we look outside over Lake Murray. Live look over Segra Park, sun coming up. You can see a blanket of snow on that tarp, and of course that's actually a grassy area there that's right under the scoreboard, and that is also an area that has snow on it. 18 now, feeling like 9 for us at that downtown location, and I want to give you a good clear look at these roads and why you shouldn't be on them. Now this is actually an interstate. This is I-26, and it is not too bad for us in some of those middle spots, but those are just for people who really have to get out there and pass. And it looks like these cars are moving at a pretty normal rate of speed, but you wouldn't want to chance it. Now this is an area here near mile marker 115. We see that semi. It's probably sitting there because he probably started to have some trouble there, as we do kind of have a little bit of a hill in place, but this is an area that's not really cleared off just yet. This is another spot that's not really cleared off. Of course, this is also near St. Andrews Road. The radar is quiet now, but again, all of the hazards have been put down on the roads, and we do still have a lot of areas that have to be watched very closely. The winter weather alerts are still in place. The extreme cold warning, that will be with us throughout the course of the day today. It feels like 6 degrees right now in Camden and in Winsboro. It feels like 5 in Newberry. Stay inside. Sandra has more.
Yeah, we've got some really cold conditions expected for the rest of this morning. So we've already have single-digit wind chills across the area. It looks like that's going to continue through much of the morning as well. So as we take a look at our in-house model run of what you can expect in terms of those feels-like temperatures, that's when you take into account the winds along with the cold air temperature. Well, temperatures in the teens will actually feel more like they're in the single digits. This is going to be the case, up for the next few hours. So we may not have those feels-like temperatures climbing out of the single digits until we get to about 10 or 11 o'clock. But still, even with that said, it is going to feel like mid to upper teens as we get closer to the lunchtime hour, the noon hour. So again, it is going to feel quite a bit colder than what you see on a thermometer. Even for this afternoon, it's going to feel like it's going to be in the 20s throughout the afternoon. And then we'll continue to have a bit of a wind out there, but it will die down later tonight into tomorrow morning. But regardless, the actual air temperatures just by themselves will be cold enough, but we could see some single-digit wind chills looking ahead to tomorrow morning. So again, those winds will be quite gusty, close to 20 miles per hour as we go through this morning, also through much of the afternoon before dying down as we head into later this evening and into tonight. And just to kind of give you an idea, today will warm into the mid-30s. Now the threshold for freezing is 32, so we'll only be above freezing really for a few hours. Now this will help to melt some of the snow, and any snow areas that are in direct sunlight, that will help as well. But we're not going to have a lot of melting today. We'll have enough, but we'll see more of it melting for tomorrow. But again, we're also going to see those mid-30s continuing to feel like 20s through the afternoon. So dangerously cold conditions for today, also into Monday morning. And again, the kids are going to want to get out and play in this stuff. Just make sure they're taking plenty of breaks coming back indoors to warm up. And also with those wind chills near 0 degrees possible, they could risk getting frostbite if they have any exposed skin if they're out there, for an hour or so. So you want to make sure that they are covered up as much as possible so that they can enjoy the snow safely. So first alert weather day continues for into tomorrow morning. may extend that into Tuesday morning as well, because we're going to see temperatures dropping back down to below freezing again for Tuesday morning. So I think for Monday and Tuesday mornings, we're talking about areas of black ice likely on roadways, because we'll see some snow melt, and that is going to refreeze, and so that could be on area roadways that have already been cleared, and also especially keep in mind sidewalks and also parking lots. So just keep that in mind. But we do have some warmer weather in store for later this week. We have 50s for highs looking ahead to your Tuesday afternoon, and we are tracking our next chance of precipitation on Wednesday, which will be rain.
Sandra, thanks. Still ahead, Buddhist monks continuing their walk for peace, and the weather is not slowing them down. We'll have the latest as they get close to Washington, D.C. coming up after the break. Welcome back. Check this out. Just a few weeks ago, we got to witness the Walk for Life as Buddhist monks made their way to the nation's capital. Well, guess what? They are still trucking, and the snow is not slowing them down. So impressive. Our sister station in Virginia captured this video as the monks trekked their way through Richmond, Virginia. Now remember, the Walk for Peace began back in October in Texas, and the monks plan to make it to the nation's capital in the next 2 weeks or so. Their mission to promote mindfulness, healing, and compassion and kindness for our world.
All right, well, always on Sunday morning, we celebrate the birthdays around the Midlands, so we're not going to let the weather stop us from doing that. Want to wish everybody who's celebrating a birthday on this first day of February, happy February, a very happy birthday.
Today is a First Alert Weather Day. This is WIS 10.
Well, good morning. Check out that view out at Lake Murray on the day after our big snow day in South Carolina to usher in the month of February. Glad to have you with us as we continue our extended coverage here on WIS and WISTV.com, giving you the update on our First Alert forecast and, of course, on conditions around the Midlands. Going to be brutally cold today.
Yes, wind chills near zero as we continue to kind of dig out from all of the snowfall that we had yesterday into today. Our First Alert meteorologist Vaughn Gaskin and Sandra Brogan joining us at the desk once again. Vaughn, let's start with you. The snow behind us, but boy, in its wake, temperatures totally frigid.
Absolutely. We are nearing zero. I mean, when you get to single digits, you're near zero, right?
Yeah, sure.
So with the temperatures that we have out there now, they have really plummeted, but it has really been cold all night, Sandra, even when the snow was falling through the night.
Yeah, we've had the winds as well, and of course, that makes that cold air that we have moving in behind the system, feel just that much colder. But yeah, we're already feeling those single digits, and that's going to be the case, through the rest of the morning. May not feel like double digits until we get closer to the noon hour.
Right.
I don't know if double digits are going to feel any different, y'all. I'm just going to keep it real.
Right. It has really just been brutally cold. And for those of us that have been out on the roadways, it is very quiet out there, but it is slick and slippery. So it is best to just stay inside and watch us. Right now, an 18-degree temperature outside over the capital city. Feels like about 9. Now, how do we get there? You take that 18-degree temperature, that's the current air temperature, and you factor in just 7 miles per hour for your wind, and that gives you a temperature of 9. So it cuts it in half, only having wind blowing at about 7 miles per hour. So it feels like 9. If you're outside, you definitely have to make sure that you are covering your body and dressing in layers. So looking at the radar, it is quiet now. We do have some kind of clutter showing up on there, but it's quiet on the radar. And this is not quiet. I do want you to look at these area roadways, still having snowpack out there. Being the first one to drive through this would be very dangerous. We're starting to see it get kind of slick and slushy out there on those roads. So we're keeping your First Alert weather days in place. The first one still holding steady today for the icy road conditions. We are going to keep that advisory in place until 10 o'clock this morning. Cold temperatures, low wind chills, busted pipes, frostbite, and if you get out there on area roadways, you'll have a whole lot of other hazards to deal with. So quiet on the First Alert radar here, but of course still tracking some snow falling in parts of the PD and the Grand Strand. Some beautiful pictures this morning coming out of Myrtle Beach, seeing that snow along the beaches. The snow is all the way up to the Outer Banks of North Carolina. The winter storm stays in place until 10, and again, that is because of the snow that fell has produced icy roads, and those are out there now. There are some slick and slippery spots. Extreme cold warning continues for us as well. That's because of these single-digit low temperatures through the course of the day, and we'll still have to deal with more of that. With more, here's Sandra.
Hey, thanks, Vaughn. Yeah, the winds really pack a punch. We've got those temperatures, those actual air temperatures in the middle teens, but feeling more like single digits like we've been talking about because of the winds. And we're likely going to see those winds gusting close to 20 miles per hour as we head into the rest of this morning. Even into the afternoon, we're still going to have some gusty winds in place. So with that said, that's going to allow those wind chills to still be in the 20s, even during the afternoon when we reach highs in the mid-30s for today. So we do have plenty of sunshine in the forecast. That will help to do some melting in the direct sunlight as we get into this afternoon. But temperatures for this afternoon only a few degrees above freezing, so not all of the snow is going to melt, but we will see some snow melting, and that will lead to some ice on some of those roads. That refreezing of that snow melt will lead to more slick spots as we look ahead to tomorrow morning. And the same case again for Tuesday morning. We'll have the refreezing of some snow melt during Monday for Tuesday morning's roadways. But again, we're going to see those temperatures in the mid-30s today, feeling more like mid-20s through the day. So that extreme cold warning continues through this morning. Now, coming up in the full forecast, we'll let you know about some warmer weather ahead for later this week.
All right, Sandra, thanks so much.
Well, continuing our team coverage this morning, we are getting a check on how things are looking as everyone wakes up across the Midlands. Our Derek Rush has been weathering the storm in Newberry County over the weekend. He joins us live this morning from Newberry County Hospital, where our first responders are holding it down for the community. Derek?
You know, this has been a conjoined effort throughout first response and essential workers to make this happen, as far as being able to provide care and continued care if available and if necessary for the people of Newberry County. I actually spoke with Sheriff Foster moments ago. He was telling me that they are actually providing transportation for anybody that chose not to shelter in place here at the hospital as essential staff and work. You can see some of the DOT crews clearing roads this morning, and you'll also be able to see some of the nurses actually coming in this morning, driving carefully over what is now icy and slick conditions. Yesterday, snowballs and snowball fights and snowmen, but that all now has turned into something that can be very dangerous. It's very hard to even see the roadways on the areas, and especially going down Main Street, Nance Street, and other areas coming into the city of Newberry. But the Newberry Memorial Hospital also celebrating the fact that they've hit the 100-year mark. Their centennial is this year. We spoke with them about some of the accomplishments that they've been able to make, but we also asked what the key is to a sustainable 100 years, especially when a hospital is working in a rural area.
Down to the physicians and staff. Obviously, you have to have great administration. You have to have people that are connected, that come from the community, that are entrenched and rooted in the community, people that are invested in the welfare of the patients that we serve, and the quality of people that we bring in, as I said, physicians, nurses, other ancillary clinical and non-clinical staff to keep us sustained and keep us solvent.
Now, guys, we are also monitoring some of the impacts of this weather as it pertains to safety concerns. We've spoken with emergency response agencies here in Newberry County. The sheriff telling me that there was one person that actually had to be hospitalized because of injuries pertaining to the snow and wintry conditions. Nobody, or no fatalities, we should say, which is a good news report there, but an always ever-present reminder for us to make sure that we are staying inside and not creating more responses for any of these first responders to have to make outside of what could already be hazardous conditions from ice and slick roads. We'll send it back to you guys in the studio. For now, we'll keep you updated throughout the afternoon. Reporting live here in Newberry, I'm Derek Rush, WIS News 10.
All right, Derek, thank you so much to you and Devin for that update this morning. And Greg, that's one of the things about it. You know, these first responders, when they go to the hospital to stay there overnight so they can be there for their shift, they're away from their families,
yes,
you know, making sure that everything is okay in these conditions. So, Derek, we appreciate you swinging by the hospital and giving us some insight into a story we don't always get a chance to cover.
Yeah, that's right. And he's right about that. You know, this morning, you know, yesterday fun and games, but today, you know, when you have cold weather like that, it can be dangerous being out for any extended period of time.
Well, our continuing team coverage will last throughout the morning. Of course, we want to keep you up to date on the roads. A lot of slick spots around the Midlands. And as you heard, throughout the morning, the first responders out there on the highway are asking all of us to be careful about getting on the roads and not to travel unless we absolutely have to.
Arlena Allen sharing more this morning on the conditions in Richland County.
Good morning. I'm here in downtown Columbia on Gervais Street. I want to give you a closer look at what's happening in this area. This road in particular has been treated. A lot of cars have been passing by at a relatively fast pace actually, but it looks like they did come and treat this road pretty recently. I'm going to step behind the camera so I can give you a better look at what's happening here. And so while this road has been treated, other parts are still slippery. When I was walking up, I actually slipped a few times coming up this way. So you definitely still want to be careful if you're in the downtown Columbia area. But I want to give you a closer look also at the ground. Bear with me while I transition to this position. So you see some of the snow accumulation is still here. Some of it still powdery. But then when you go over here, gonna change views a little bit closer to the road. I have my vest on so I'm being safe. But I'm gonna step right here in front of the camera just so you can see what it's looking like. A little bit more crunchier in different areas. And then over here, it's a little bit more slushy. Again, like I was telling you, looks like they have treated this road No cars are coming by, so I'm going to quickly come in and show you the road. Just a little bit of that slush mixed in with that sand and brine that they may have come in this morning to put on the roadways. So the area is definitely quieter than it was yesterday. Yesterday we saw people walking through, going to bars and other places that were actually open. 5 Points was definitely popping yesterday as well, but a very quiet scene here this morning. I also can't put into words how cold it is out here. I mean, the wind is whipping. I had to put on extra layers today just to stay warm, and you want to make sure you're staying warm as well. If you don't have to get on the road today, definitely avoid it. That's coming from officials. They can't say it enough, and we just hope you're staying safe. Back to you all in the studio.
All right, Lena, we appreciate that perspective. Thanks so much. Well, a Forest Acres restaurant destroyed after a fire tore through that building during the snow showers yesterday afternoon. The Columbia Richland Fire Department says that fire started around a heater. Now, thankfully, no one was hurt.
They had some workers inside at the time, but they were able to get out safely. So obviously, as we learn more about that fire and just what the future is of the restaurant, we'll certainly keep you updated. Also, a safety alert for you this morning with brutally cold temperatures. A lot of families are trying to stay warm. That restaurant fire yesterday, a reminder about being very careful with space heaters. Of course, a lot of common mistakes you can make trying to keep your house warm can put your family at risk. So we just want you to be mindful. Carbon monoxide, that is one danger that we always have to be on the lookout for. Hopefully you have a detector already installed in your home. If you ever hear that alarm go off, you need to get fresh air immediately. You should, of course, check those batteries just to make sure they are working properly and installed properly as well. And with those space heaters, make sure you do not leave them unattended. Make sure you do not keep them on while you're sleeping, and make sure you always use them as a safe distance. Some of these emergencies that we see when temperatures get cold, doctors say the symptoms are sometimes unrecognizable, especially when it comes to carbon monoxide poisoning, and can even feel like the onset of the flu.
Dizziness, it's headache. So all those things kind of similar to that. And so any weird things like that, you think you're burning fuel, then go outside. Certainly if someone has passed out, you call 911. If not, you can certainly call the poison center. But the number one thing for carbon monoxide is get fresh air, get that person out of the exposure.
Well, experts say the best protection is prevention. So hopefully you have those carbon monoxide alarms already installed. If you do not, add it to your checklist to make sure that you do get one installed on each level of your home.
Thanks, Judy and Greg. Yeah, of course, as we're keeping you safe on these First Alert weather days, it's still fun. It's a snow day, so continue to send in your pictures and videos to us. This is from Talika, who sent us in a video. Here is another. To our continued winter weather coverage this morning. Yeah, we've been keeping you safe and alert, but we want to see the fun for these snow days. So please send your videos and pics to 10. Here's a fun video we got from Talika Holmes. Thank you for sending that in. Lauren Sullivan from Lugoff also sent us some pictures of the kiddos having some fun last night. Some trampoline snow angels were sent in to us from her. So thank you for sending in those pictures. Katura sent in some pictures. She said of her dogs. There they are. Their names are Jesse and Haven, having a good time in the snow last night. Also, Victoria Robinson sending us a picture from her house. Oh, this is a beautiful view. This was sent in from Mark just 1 hour ago this morning. So folks are already up early sending us those pictures and videos. Please continue to do so. You can find all the information on how you can send them in on our website, WISTV.com. Our page will look just like this, where you can submit those pictures and videos, and we can share them right here at WIS.
And now I have to caution you, it's beautiful outside now, but we know what happened yesterday. Elgin, you were at 5.4 inches for the amount of snow that you took in. Now there is a portion of northeast Columbia that took on about 4 inches as well, but in Columbia, you're at about 3.1, Blythewood at about 3.5. So the numbers have been coming in, and the highest number I have seen from Columbia was 8.4 inches that came in from Indian Land. I will start you off with a live look at Lake Murray, and it's a first alert weather day. I know it's hard to believe, and it's hard to stay pent up inside when you're looking at beautiful conditions like this, but we've got plenty of sunshine here, and it looks great, but it does not feel all that great. So go ahead and stay inside. Live look at Segra Park now. Even the grassy area underneath the scoreboard is covered, and the tarp that they put down over the field, that is covered with snow. And look at these roadways. This is I-26 near St. Andrews Road. Clearly, all of the areas are seeing the snow. The center lanes look pretty good for us here, but we have snow on those edges and those shoulders. This is an area that's not really cleared off all that well. This is I-20 here, and so this is an area that you want to be careful with. They basically have one passing lane on each area of the interstate, and this is an area that's not really well cleared off. This is also near St. Andrews Road, but just a different vantage point. But again, that center lane is passable, but the other lanes, you have to watch it on there. All right, how does it feel out there? It's cold. I can just tell you, you don't have to come outside and check for yourselves. It feels like 4 degrees right now in Camden. Feels like 5 in Winsboro. Feels like 9 for you in Columbia and in Lexington. It feels like about 7 in Orangeburg. With a little bit more on how it's going to feel later on with those wind chill temperatures and the overnight temperatures. Here's Sandra.
Hey, thanks, Vaughn. Yeah, we are looking at single-digit wind chill, the feels-like temperatures through the rest of this morning. So those winds will still be quite strong at times, up to around 20 miles per hour. Maybe not quite as strong as yesterday, but still up to around 20 mile per hour wind gusts possible for this morning, even for this afternoon, before dying down as we head into later tonight. But again, we could see those wind chill values, those feels-like temperatures around lunchtime, feeling as cold as 15 degrees still when you factor in those winds. and then we'll have those wind chills in the 20s this afternoon, even when we have our temperatures into the mid-30s for this afternoon. So with that said, our temperatures will climb to above freezing later today, but not for long and not by that much. We'll just be a few degrees above freezing and really just for a few hours. So we will see some snow melt today, but I think we'll see much more of it for Monday afternoon. But in terms of those winds, they will likely gust 15 to 20 miles per hour through this morning, through the afternoon, and that is going to make temperatures reaching the mid-30s later this afternoon feel like they're into the mid-20s. But again, single-digit wind chills through the morning hours. So I know a lot of the kids at heart want to get out there and enjoy the snow. Just make sure you are limiting skin exposure as much as you possibly can. Maybe have that scarf wrapped around the face, have a hat that keeps the heat from escaping your body as readily as it would without that hat. And so frostbite is possible if the kids are going to be out there an hour or a couple of hours. So make sure that they have those mittens or gloves on. So again, as we go through the rest of it this morning, we have that extreme cold warning that we're talking about. Now we will see temperatures a little bit above freezing that I was talking about earlier for later on this afternoon. We'll see some snow melting, but by tomorrow morning, we're back down into the mid-teens, well below freezing. So we're likely going to see some icy spots on those roads from snow melt refreezing. Same case for Tuesday morning, because Tuesday morning we'll be back down into the lower 20s after we see temperatures Tuesday afternoon or Monday afternoon in the 40s. So we are going to be dealing with areas of black ice for Monday morning and Tuesday morning. So today we've got those slick roadways. Vaughn was showing you the traffic cameras, and especially those on and off ramps, they're just still snow covered. Also secondary roads still snow covered. So if you don't have to be out and about, please stay home for today. Stay off those roads. But tomorrow we should be into the low to mid 40s, and that will melt a lot of that snow. But again, we just have to be concerned about black ice Tuesday morning, because that snow melt will refreeze with those temperatures dropping to below freezing again. But the good news is that we'll see temperatures quite a bit warmer starting Tuesday afternoon. We're in the mid 50s for highs, and it looks like that next chance for precipitation is all rain. 55 for the high on your Wednesday.
All right, looking forward to those 50s. Thanks so much, Sandra. And a great tool to have on a morning just like this is the WIS First Alert weather app. You can scan the QR code on your screen right now to download it today. It lets you track the forecast hour by hour in your area and get instant alerts from our First Alert weather team. That app, free for both Android and Apple devices. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Well, here's a look at your 10-day forecast. We are showing temperatures today reaching the mid-30s, so just a little above freezing for later on this afternoon. But remember, we've got single-digit wind chills, feels like temperatures out there right now, so make sure that you are bundled up as you're heading out the door. Now, we will see some snow melting for later this afternoon. We've got the sunny skies in a forecast, so that will be nice, and that will help to melt some of that snow, any of that snow in direct sunlight. But of course, that snow melt will refreeze tomorrow morning, so we're likely to be dealing with some areas of black ice developing tomorrow morning. Same case for Tuesday morning, because Monday afternoon we'll be into the 40s, so we'll likely see a lot of that snow melting. I don't know if we'll see all of it melting by then. Certainly melting by Tuesday if there's temperatures into the 50s, but Monday, we're dealing with the slick roadways out there. Still some snow-covered roads across the area, and so try to avoid any travel if you can, but we still have that potential for some slick spots due to ice Monday and Tuesday mornings.
All right, Sandra, thanks so much. And don't forget, our winter weather coverage continues here shortly online at WISTV.com and on our Facebook. Our Judy Gatson and Vaughn Gaskin sitting and getting ready to answer your questions coming up. Okay, wasn't taking. Okay. Now I take it that that live? No.
Huh?
Well, good morning, everyone, and happy Sunday. Judy Gatson here with First Alert meteorologist Vaughn Gaskin. We were just looking outside the window in our studio. I cannot sing. If I could sing, I would sing The Sun Will Come Out. Although it's not tomorrow, it's out this morning, and we are so happy to see it. But it's going to take a while for this sun to melt all of this snow, Vaughn.
Right. I'm not expecting much melting today.
Okay.
I'm expecting more of a slushy mess.
Okay. Our road outside the studio is ice.
Right.
It is ice.
Right. It is ice. There is a layer. Now, there's still some of that fluffy stuff on the top.
On the top.
But there is a layer of ice down there that you have to watch out for. And, you know, I told you yesterday, I drive a four-wheel drive car.
Yes.
So as I was coming in here to the state, I was only maybe like, 4 blocks away.
Okay.
So that was good. I didn't have to drive far. But turning and trying to get up a little ramp, even my car was like, really? Yes.
Okay.
So
Okay.
even in a four-wheel drive vehicle, you still have hazards that you have to watch out for. And so that was one of them. Doing those turns, I noticed that those slushy snowpacks are starting to kind of pack up on some of those intersections and turns.
Yeah.
Watch out for that as
Yes.
well. And of course, we're only talking to first responders and people who really have to be places. I know some of the restaurants want to open, but I don't know.
But you got to be really careful. Like
do.
Lizard's Thicket is closed today, so
Right.
they're keeping their folks at home, keeping them safe. And when it comes to first responders, in fact, we're going to check in just a moment here with our Derek Rush before we bring his report to you. They were planning ahead. I mean, I know, you know, essential workers, they've got to be on duty, right? But at Newberry County Hospital, they, in preparation for this storm, they brought their folks in and they stayed there overnight so they could be ready whenever needed.
Yes, yes. And I told you I have a friend who's a nurse.
Yes.
And her facility is an assistant living type of thing. And they had places for them to stay as well so
Yeah.
that they could be there because, you know, they do those 12-hour shifts and so they could be where they needed to be. So thank you to a lot of those businesses for facilitating that.
I know. I tell you what,
Yeah.
it's so incredible. I mean, obviously, to all of our first responders, the law enforcement that we see out on the highways, the SCDOT crews have been working since last week
Right.
to treat the roads. I mean, our hospital workers, our National Guard who have been on duty and away from their families just to be pre-positioned and ready to respond in whatever way needed. Vaughn's going to have an update on the forecast for you in just a second to let us know what to expect throughout the day. But first,
Right.
let's listen in for Derek Rush, his update from early this morning in Newberry County.
All right.
Well, the snow was the first part of this system, and it was fun. You know, snowmen and snowball fights are great, but then as those temperatures drop, that snow quickly ices over and becomes hazardous for driving conditions. And you can see it's just completely covered parking lots in areas throughout Newberry County in the city of Newberry. I actually spoke with law enforcement agencies, the sheriff's office telling me that they have responded to 16 wrecks as the result of this wintry system. One injured, but is being treated for their injuries. No fatalities, thankfully, and no fires, but a caution from all emergency response agencies and essential staff here at the Newberry County Memorial Hospital to stay at home and shelter in place if at all possible.
The biggest thing that we want to express to the community is if you don't have to be out, stay at home, stay safe. We have shelters in the community. All of the areas in the Midlands have shelters right now. We want people to stay warm. We want them to stay safe, stay at home. We're always here. We're always ready. We have staff that have stayed in-house for this event to be prepared for their next shift, so we're not risking the roads.
The feels like temperature is in the single digits according to our First Alert weather team. So if at all possible, make sure you are avoiding exposing as much of your skin as possible throughout these wintry conditions. And we will keep you updated both on air and online. For now, reporting here in Newberry, I'm Derek Rush. We'll send it back to you.
All right. Thank you, Derek. That was great. Great
That was
information
great.
there. And I'm so proud of them for 100 years. And it's hard to sustain yourselves in a rural community. So shout out to them.
It really is. And having quality hospitals in rural communities, especially in a state in South Carolina where we have so many health disparities, I mean, they are really doing just incredible work.
Absolutely.
So a big thank you to the first responders, the staff out at Newberry Hospital for all that you do and for all of our medical workers who are out there making sure that we're keeping everybody safe.
Absolutely.
Vaughn, you said you're not expecting much melting today.
No,
That
not
stood out
expecting
to
much.
me.
Nope, not today. A little more tomorrow. I am expecting some melting tomorrow because I think today I'm going with a forecast of 35. So not very warm, not that much above freezing. Now remember, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. Your asphalt temperatures will probably get a little bit warmer. So the roads will probably be higher than 35. no more than about 40. So there will be some melting on some of those roadways, but understand that's a thick layer of snow. I had some of those snow totals in there. Northeast Richland County, Columbia had about 4 inches.
Okay.
3.5 in several spots. So we were certainly at that 3.5 mark in several areas right in the center of Richland County. And I am, let's see if I can get some of my graphics to work. We may have a couple of other things going on here. So I'll see if I can get it. Oh, is that it?
Look at the pretty lake
oh,
shot.
it's so nice.
Look
Isn't
at
that
that. I wish we had that
nice?
before and after, but you know, it just was kind of that white, cloudy glaze
so
for much of yesterday, and now this Carolina sunshine has that beautiful glow.
Yeah, and when we look at pictures like this, you have to be careful because, you know, I show you these great pictures and then you want to go out there and see and experience it. Only if you can walk. And I know there are a lot of walking trails near Lake Murray. So if you want to walk near the area and you can safely do so, you have some good tread on your boots, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, stay inside because it is terribly, terribly cold out there. This is looking at some of the roadways. We talked a little bit about that. Most of the roadways I'm seeing with at least one passable lane on those interstates. And so that's basically not for joyriding, you know, that is for emergency vehicles and getting to just places that you have to be. Those people seem to be moving at a normal rate of speed there. Now, this is one that's not well cleared. This is I-20. This is, I think this is near Broad River. No, Bush River. You can see the
at the top.
hotel. So Bush River. And now there's more snow there than was on the other one on 26. So this is an area that would have to be traveled through very slowly. Clearly there is snow on the shoulders area, but that center lane is passable at this time on I-20. And another vantage point on I-26, yes, that middle, there are actually 2 center lanes there that are passable. This is near I-26, but let's look, if you can look on the extreme left side of your screen, that's probably Fernandina. It's probably Fernandina Road.
I think that
frontage road over there.
I think you're
but
right.
Can you see that is not cleared?
No, it's not.
It's not cleared. It is slushy. It's icy. Now, those cars seem to be driving on it. Those are probably some 4-wheel drive vehicles. They seem to not be having any problems, but that is what you are going to encounter when you get outside on some of these roadways, and you may drive just fine on one road and then get to that next one and you may struggle. So let's go ahead and wait it out, spend some time inside for another day or so. And this is the way it feels outside right now. This has improved since we were on air. Look at this. Camden feels like 3. So when you saw us, I'd say a day or 2 ago, and remember we had up that big map and we were saying feeling like 0. Everybody's like, Vaughn, you're crazy. It's not going to feel like near 0. Look at it right now.
Look at it.
Look at it. 3 is that real field temperature in Camden, 6 in Winsboro and Newberry, 5 is the way it feels in Saluda and Sumter, and 10 downtown Columbia. That has come up from 8 when we first got in here. Feels like 7 right now in Lexington. So it is cold, and I'm talking about bitter and brutally cold. The good news is the radar has cleared out. We are done. The snow has moved on. It's somebody else's problem now. But North Carolina's still getting it in some spots.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you and I were talking in studio this morning. I don't know if you all were tracking the headlines out of North Carolina, but they had a major pile up on their interstates last night. More than 100 vehicles, many of them tractor trailers, that they had to deploy the National Guard. And you know what? That was a scary situation. It made me think about this pile up. It was more up in the D.C. area. It's been maybe a year or 2 ago, but people were stuck overnight, and there were fatalities because of the weather conditions. And so when you look at these temperatures, that is not where you want to spend the overnight hours stuck out on the highway.
And we were talking about that. We had a graphic, different levels of hypothermia. You know, just when you start the shivering, you know, that's a level. And you can get to the point where you're just confused and your body temperature has gone down, you know, 96, 95, you're in it. By that point, you have to get some treatment to get those temperatures up. You got to get some hot water in you, some warm things to start bringing those temperatures back up. But that is something that you don't want to have to deal with. So just don't get out there. You know, do your best to stay away from roadways if you can. Just to give you a look at the storm altogether, right now we're seeing it winding up over here. It is on the Outer Banks. They're still getting snow. Outer Banks, still some snow in Horry County. Other than that, this winter storm will be put to bed very, very soon, and none too soon, because we dealt with it all day yesterday. I want to say, so that would mean snow in South Carolina for over 24 hours, because remember yesterday, we started at, it came into our area at 6 a.m.
Daybreak, just like you said, yeah.
But it had already been snowing in the upstate through the course of the night, earlier in the morning. And if we look at it, here it is Sunday morning now, and it's still technically snowing in Horry County.
Wow.
So still snow on the radar in Horry County.
That is incredible.
This morning.
We want to give a shout out to everybody who's joining us this morning. Thank you for waking up early with us on this early Sunday morning and the first day of February, believe it or not. January has literally flown by. So Kim is asking about your hometown, Vaughn, down in the Orangeburg County area. What have you been hearing about roads?
I hear they're bad, and I have firsthand information out of my household.
Oh my goodness.
To tell me that trouble getting up and down ramps. Tires spinning out, secondary roads not cleared, just not ready for vehicle passage right now. It's what I'm being told.
And listen, you know, our friends in Orangeburg, y'all were waiting and waiting, and y'all were real patient waiting for that snow to come yesterday, but now it has arrived.
It has arrived.
And it's making road conditions very dangerous. So give it a little time. Give it a little time. And the crews need time. The SCDOT crews, like I said, they've been making passes since Thursday, but it takes some time to make all the rounds. The interstates are the first priority. Then they move to what they call the primary roads, like highways, like here in Columbia, like 378 or Highway 1. And then they try to get to those secondary roads. So, you know, once the conditions got pretty severe and we have, you know, the roads iced over, it'll take them a little longer to make those passes. So just be patient.
Yeah, we did have some road closures. They were
oh my gosh, in Lexington County they had a long list of road closures overnight. I'll try and pull some up to update you all.
Hey Kelsey.
Yeah.
Roads are solid ice in Chapin and they are closed. Thank you, Kelsey.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. It's a smart thing to do. Just close. And I know we got a big closure list from Forest Acres late yesterday as well. So, I mean, yeah, it is best to not get out there unless you really, really have to.
Well, Irmo Police put up a post to Kelsey's point today. They put up a post last night saying that Lake Murray Boulevard was a sheet of ice.
Wow.
We had a very long list of road closures over in Lexington County. Columbia Police Department, they've had their officers out patrolling overnight. They've been updating road closures around the city. And as you mentioned, over in Forest Acres, especially some of the hilly areas, they have had road closures as well. And
I know they had a Tascadero on that list.
They sure did, updating all night.
What else did I see? And look, we have some clearing coming by us right now.
Salt truck just went by, didn't it?
Yeah. No, this is the what do you call that? The scraper.
Oh, that's the scraper clearing the road. Okay.
So they're getting
we
to
told
it.
y'all they are out working. They are out
are.
doing it. I pulled up the Forest Acres information for you. So Rockbridge from Trenholm to Gold Branch.
Okay.
Brookfield East Shore over to Rockbridge. Covenant Road from Bethel Church over to Dallas, and Atascadero that you mentioned from Forest Drive all the way over to Juarez. So those are the conditions, and I'll pull up and see if we have any other
the baseball
updates
field
there.
is down there.
It is.
So,
It is.
Yeah. Wow.
And Kelsey's also asking about melting today.
Not much. Some probably just enough to make it slushy, not to make it all go away. I'm gonna give it another day for tomorrow. And also, you know, we have the first alert weather days in place, and we try to keep them in place when there are going to be problems on the roads. We're holding off right now on Tuesday to see how much melting we get for Monday, but it is certainly top of mind to possibly extend the first alert weather days into Tuesday morning because of what may be left over. We really need to see how much melting we get today for Sunday, and then that will, of course, start making us dictate things. So yeah, they're getting some scraping done right here on our street. I'm sure they're not doing our street. They're probably regrouping so that they can do Gervais Street.
Y'all need to get a photographer out there shooting. Those are the City of Columbia trucks going by.
So they're scraping Bull. We're on Bull Street.
Yeah.
So, but I'm sure they're probably getting ready to head for on 277 is right up the road, and then Elmwood, Gervais. I'm sure they're going to get those done.
I'm sure.
But yeah, they're working. Glad to see those crews out there working.
I know. Shout out to the City of Columbia crews. Mayor Daniel Rickman came through yesterday and talked with us about how the city crews are working in coordination with SCDOT and law enforcement and South Carolina Highway Patrol. I mean, it is a local, city, state effort to really coordinate now the post-storm efforts to keep safety in place, to get the roads clear as soon as possible. And he will be joining us at 10 a.m. That's when we'll be back on air on WIS to give you the update. And so the mayor has been getting constant updates just about road conditions, about the city's response. So we'll have that for you at 10 a.m.
Okay.
Samantha wants to know if we're expecting any more snow.
Samantha. It's going to rain Wednesday. Of this week. I think we'll have liquid precipitation. That's going to be liquid. That's this Wednesday. And we're not going to talk about anything after that because, number one, I have seen, I know that people are starting to talk about it online, and this is so tough. I mean, but you can't just look at one model and make an assessment of anything. But there is still plenty of winter to go. We'll say that. February is still winter, and we have had a lot of snow in February in the past. So the chance is not zero, Samantha. It's not zero. I'm not on board with any other snowstorms as of yet. And so if you're talking about something happening somewhere around Valentine's Day and all that stuff, let's give it some more time. Let's give it a little more
time. Keep your questions coming for Vaughn. She's on in the First Alert Weather Center this morning, along with First Alert meteorologist Sandra Brogan. And, we'll be with you throughout the day to keep you updated. Stay connected on the app, on the website. And while we have just a minute, I mean, we're, got a little bit of breathing room this morning. Yesterday we were updating information continuously about road closures, about the weather condition, about the snowfall totals, about just everything happening around the city. There was a big fire over in the Forest Acres area, started by a space heater, by the way. So hopefully you guys are really, really being careful with things like that. Hopefully, and just like over in Forest Acres, no injuries. So that was great. Good. But when you look at that building, all I could think about was they were preparing to open. They had, I think, 4 employees inside, and they all got out safely. But, Vaughn, I couldn't help but think, what if that restaurant had been full? Because it was very busy the day before.
And people were looking for those last-minute food items to get locked in with. So
you had a home story about looking for food, too, didn't you?
Yeah, because the college kid in my life decided that he didn't want to prepare the day before because he said he just knew he would just call DoorDash. And the DoorDash people... yesterday, the DoorDash people weren't even accepting money.
No,
they go, it didn't go through. Right. It was too risky for anyone, and so he ended up eating noodles because he couldn't DoorDash.
Life lessons for our college student.
Yes,
I bet those noodles were good too.
I bet they were.
All right, I'm looking on Facebook. We want to answer as many of your questions as we can. Mostly, we want you to stay safe. We want you to stay warm, but we're just here to be a resource and to help you get through this and to just make plans accordingly, and that'll be different for everybody, right? Depending on what your work schedule is, depending on where you live, depending on what your responsibilities are to look after other people in your family and loved ones and, our elderly and to be able to check on them. So we just want you to make informed decisions about when it's best to get out and about and the things that you need to do right now that you really, really need to do and things that can maybe wait until conditions have improved somewhat. Connie is asking, how long will the sun be out today? Wondering what might be the best time to venture out for those possibly heading to a gym or a location nearby their home?
Sun's going to be out all day.
Okay.
Sun's going to be out all day. So you will certainly have great conditions. If you can walk someplace to have fun, do that, just because the roads still need some more time. And by the time the sun really gets up to do any melting, it'll be going back down. You know, we're still in the shorter days of winter. And so if you're trying to wait until 3 or 4 o'clock, you wouldn't want to venture out and then you get stuck and then it's dark and then you have a whole list of other problems. And so, I wouldn't really advise going out today. Wait until tomorrow, or, you know, do a workout in the living room. Try to get a at-home workout today
Do a
if you're
squat,
trying to get to the
Connie.
gym.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah.
That'll work. That'll work for sure. I wanted to get back to, that was on my Facebook page. I'm just toggling around on social media to see what other questions we may have. Oh my gosh, can we take a look at some of the snow pictures? I almost forgot about that. That's been my favorite part of the storm coverage.
We
you
have
guys
had some
have
good
sent in the
pictures.
cutest pictures.
And that was one that came in just early this morning. Oh, look at that little snowman.
I know.
It's Elsa.
I know.
Do you want to build a snowman?
I love it. I
think that's
love
in
it.
that movie.
Look at that.
Oh,
What a
red
pretty
bird.
shot.
Red
Yes.
birds. Oh,
and you know, someone put out, I think it was Bishop Bailey, put out a little note. Look at the Barbies. I don't know if they're Barbies, but the little
Barbies
dolls.
made snow angels.
Oh, they made their snow fun. It took
They
me a minute.
did.
That's
Yes,
adorable.
they did.
But somebody put a post on Facebook saying that putting your bird feeders out during weather like this is almost kind of like a soup kitchen for the birds, like trying to look for food and everything. I had not thought about that before. Look at that pretty shot.
That is beautiful, but look at those roads.
Girl, yes.
You'd be slushing and sliding.
You really would. We've had some really picturesque views coming in of landscapes all around South Carolina. Just capturing different angles, different views, golf carts stuck on the side of the road.
Stuck.
I think that was one of the pictures that came in from the Highway Patrol. They responded to a lot of accidents yesterday. I have not heard of any fatalities. I don't want to give an official report because, you know, they send in reports from all around the state.
Right.
But they were asking people to really just avoid being on the roads, but if you have to be out, to slow down.
Right.
People were traveling, and even, you know, our reporters, they know I get on them in those live shots. And Lena had on her safety vest this morning, so
did.
shout out to Lena. Very proud of her. All of the crews have done a remarkable job. And you know what? I want to give a heartfelt thank you to our management team here at WIS for putting safety first, because, you know, in deploying our crews to be out in these areas, you know, what they have done. For example, Derek's been in Newberry, but he's not traveling back and forth going home and then going back to Newberry. He was able to stay there in a hotel overnight. Derek and our photographer, Devin. Same thing for Nick Neville and Tanner Gilmartin. They were in the Camden area for this weekend storm, but they were able to stay there instead of traveling back and forth on these roads. And then even for our crews have been working, you know, 12, 14-hour shifts here at the station. They booked hotel rooms right down the street. And, you know, Kelly and different people were helping people drive back and forth to get over there and then get back to the station to be able to report for work. So our general manager, Robbie Thomas, our news director, Mary Beth Jacoby, even thought ahead to the restaurants being closed. They had some frozen pizzas down in the freezer last night, and Wymark brought in some chili. I mean, it was just a whole team effort and some other snacks and stuff. So I tell you what, our work family is a really, really wonderful family. So we just want to say a special thank you to everybody who has worked so hard to keep our team safe while we've been working to keep you guys informed.
Thank
We
you.
love that.
Thank you for all the love. And thank you all so much for joining us.
Yes.
It has been an eventful morning already. The snow is on the ground. Let's again stay safe. The story changes. The weather story has changed now from the snow yesterday to the cold that's moving in. So that's what we'll really be focusing in on, a temperature forecast. And of course, looking at roadways. We'll be back up live for you on air at 10 this morning. But we'll probably do another Facebook Live sometime around 9 or so.
Yeah, Greg and Sandra will be here at 9, and then all of us will be on air at 10. And, you know, if conditions change, we'll adjust our schedule for you. I mean, we're here. So we'll be connected on the app, on the website. I keep saying it over and over again. We'll do what we have always done, which is come together to get through these things together. Our main focus, hope, and prayer is that you are staying safe and warm.
Stay safe, stay warm. Bye-bye.